$43,000. That is sitting inside your retirement accounts right now, compounding at exactly 0%. Not because your fund picked the wrong stocks, not because your employer is stingy, because of the order in which you filled 3 buckets. You did the responsible thing. You maxed out your 401k. You hit the limit, felt the satisfaction of doing exactly what every personal finance article in existence told you to do. And in doing so, you walked past a sequencing rule the IRS baked into the tax code decades ago. The people who find that rule retire with more money. The people who do not fund the ones who do. This is what I call the contribution order problem. It is not about how much you save. It is about which account receives the dollar first. And once you see the framework, you will never look at open enrollment the same way again. To make this concrete, let me put a real person on screen. His name is Marcus. He is 38 years old. He lives in California. He earns $180,000 a year. He is disciplined, genuinely trying to build wealth, maxing his 401k every January. And he is making one sequencing mistake that costs him $43,000 over the next 20 years. He is filling his buckets in the wrong order. Marcus does what everyone tells him to do. Open enrollment arrives. He logs into his benefits portal, sets his 401k contribution to the maximum $24,500 for 2026, and closes the laptop. He feels done. He is not done. He has just poured his highest value dollars into his second best vehicle and left his best vehicle sitting empty. Here's the academic framework behind why that order matters. Think of your tax situation as 3 chambers in a vault. Each chamber operates under different rules. The first chamber is tax deferred. Money enters before tax, grows without annual taxation, and gets taxed as ordinary income on the way out. That is the traditional 401k. The second chamber is tax-free permanently. Money enters after tax, grows without any annual taxation, and exits completely tax-free in retirement. No income tax on withdrawal. No required minimum distributions chasing you at 73. That is the Roth structure. The third chamber is the rarest instrument in the entire tax code. Money enters before tax. It grows tax-free, and it exits completely untaxed as long as you spend it on qualified medical expenses. No other account does all 3 simultaneously. The third chamber is your health savings account, or HSA. For Marcus in California at $180,000, filling it before the traditional 401k is worth roughly $2,900 in immediate tax savings per year. Here's the math. The 2026 family HSA limit is $8,750. At a combined federal and California marginal rate of 33.3%, 24% federal plus 9.3% state, that $8,750 routed through an HSA saves Marcus $2,914 the year he contributes. The same $8,750 routed into a traditional 401k saves the exact same dollar amount. So far identical. But the HSA wins decisively at withdrawal. The 401k will be taxed at whatever income rate Marcus faces in retirement. The HSA withdrawal for medical expenses is 0. At 65, HSA funds pay for Medicare premiums, long-term care premiums, and virtually every healthcare cost tax-free. The vault that taxes you 3 times less always wins. If you want more breakdowns like this, where we take the actual tax code and turn it into a decision tree, you can use on a Tuesday subscribe to Paycheck Playbook. It costs nothing. And the next section is where the real money is. Now let us build Marcus's optimal stack from the ground up, one decision at a time. Imagine a bar sitting at 0. Every correct step adds to it. Step 1. Marcus contributes to his 401k, but only up to the employer match. His company matches 50 cents on every dollar up to $7,000 of his contributions. That is a guaranteed 50% return on $7,000 before any market movement. There is no investment on earth that competes with that return. The bar just grew. $7,000 into the 401k employer match captured. This account is done for now. Step 2. Marcus fills the HSA. $8,750. Family coverage. 2026 limit. Every dollar enters pre-tax at his 33.3% combined rate. Every dollar grows tax-free inside. Every dollar spent on qualified medical expenses exits completely untaxed. The bar just grew. He is now at $15,750 in confirmed tax advantage contributions. Step 3. Marcus cannot contribute directly to a Roth IRA. His income at $180,000 clears the 2026 phase-out range, which ends at $168,000 for single filers. But income limits apply to contributions, not to conversions. This distinction is the entire foundation of the backdoor Roth strategy. Marcus makes a non-deductible contribution to a traditional IRA $7,500, the 2026 limit, and converts it to a Roth IRA within days. Because the contribution was already after tax dollars, the conversion carries no tax liability, provided Marcus holds no pre-existing pre-tax IRA balances. If he does, the pro rata rule kicks in and creates a taxable event. For most high earners who have never opened a traditional IRA, the conversion is clean. The bar just grew. $23,250, now sitting in either tax-free or triple tax advantage vehicles. Step 4 is the one most high earners have never heard of, the Mega Backdoor Roth. Your 401k plan has 3 contribution buckets, not 2. Most people see pre-tax and Roth on their benefits portal and assume that covers everything. The third bucket is labeled after tax, and it is nearly invisible in most plan interfaces. The IRS caps total 401k contributions from all sources under Section 415C at $72,000 for 2026. Marcus has contributed $7,000 in employee deferrals. His employer has contributed $3,500 in matching funds. That leaves $61,500 of unused space inside the plan ceiling. He can fill a significant portion of that gap with after-tax dollars, then convert those after-tax contributions into Roth status, either through an in-plan Roth conversion or an in-service withdrawal to a Roth IRA. With a typical employer match structure, Marcus has approximately $36,000 to $39,000 of Mega Backdoor space available. One critical disclosure. This strategy requires 2 plan features to exist. The 401k must allow after-tax contributions, and it must allow either in-plan Roth conversions or in-service distributions to an outside Roth IRA. Roughly half of large 401k plans support both. Before Marcus touches this step, he calls HR and asks specifically, does our plan allow after-tax contributions and in-plan Roth conversions? If the answer is no, he skips to step 5 and routes remaining savings to a taxable brokerage account. This is not a universal tool. It is a tool that requires confirming your plan's summary plan description first. Step 5. Only after all 4 prior buckets are addressed does Marcus return to the traditional 401k to fill the remaining pre-tax maximum. He captured the match in step 1. Now he fills the gap between $7,000 and the $24,500 employee deferral limit. Now the side-by-side comparison. Imagine 2 bars on the same graph. The left bar is Marcus. Running the naive order, max the 401k immediately, contribute to the HSA occasionally, skip the backdoor Roth because the income limit language confused him, never discover the Mega Backdoor. His tax advantage portfolio compounds at 7% annually for 20 years. The bar reaches approximately $1.38 million. The right bar is Marcus running the optimal 5-step sequence every year. Same income, same total contribution dollars, same 7% return. That bar reaches approximately $1.42 million. The gap between the 2 bars is roughly $40,000 to $43,000, depending on the exact employer match and the years in which the Mega Backdoor becomes fully available in his plan. There is an honest objection that deserves a direct answer. $43,000 over 20 years is not dramatic on a $180,000 salary. Marcus earns that in roughly 3 months. And the complexity of maintaining a 5-step annual routine tracking after-tax 401k balances separately, filing IRS Form 8606 for the backdoor Roth every year. Monitoring pro rata exposure could create an error that costs more than the optimization saves. That is a legitimate concern. Here's the response. The annual maintenance takes approximately 90 minutes at open enrollment. Form 8606 is a single page. The pro rata issue disappears entirely if Marcus holds no pre-tax IRA balances, which most people at this stage of planning do not, and $43,000 compounding for another 15 years beyond the 20-year mark at 7% becomes approximately $119,000 in retirement purchasing power. At that scale, the complexity is a 90-minute annual investment for a 6-figure lifetime return. But the deeper argument is not the number itself. It is what the number represents when you convert it into a different unit. Marcus nets roughly $120,000 annually after California taxes. $43,000 is 4.5 months of his working life. 4.5 months of early mornings, traffic, performance reviews, and deadlines someone else set. The contribution order problem does not cost you money in an abstract sense. It costs you mornings. Specifically, it costs you the option to work 4 fewer months at the end of your career, or to take a lower stress job years earlier because the gap between your portfolio and your freedom number just closed. Here is the protocol. 3 steps you execute before open enrollment closes. Step 1. Pull up your 401k summary plan description or call HR today. Ask one specific question. Does this plan allow after-tax contributions and in-plan Roth conversions or in-service distributions? Write down the answer. If yes, you have access to step 4. If no, you do not, and you stop there without losing anything from steps 1 through 3. Step 2, log into your benefits portal and set your 401k deferral to capture the full employer match only, not the maximum, the match amount. Then open your HSA if you are enrolled in a qualifying high-deductible health plan and set contributions to $8,750 for the year. If your employer contributes to the HSA, the combined total across employer and employee contributions cannot exceed the annual limit. Step 3. Open a traditional IRA at a brokerage if you do not already have one with a 0 pre-tax balance. Contribute $7,500 for 2026. Convert to a Roth IRA within the same week. File Form 8606 with your tax return in April. That is the entire backdoor Roth execution. Then return to your 401k and fill the remaining employee deferral space. The contribution order problem is not a secret the IRS is hiding. It is a consequence of having a tax code written across 60 years of separate legislation. Each account was created independently. No single document tells you how to sequence them. That sequencing is something you have to derive yourself or find someone who already did the work. Marcus runs the same income, the same contribution total, and the same market return as his neighbor. His neighbor retires with $1.38 million. Marcus retires with $1.42 million. The gap is not talent. The gap is not luck. The gap is the order in which 2 people made the same deposits into the same tax code. Drop a comment with which step you have completed. If you're already running the Mega Backdoor Roth, I want to know which plan allows it. That information is genuinely useful for everyone watching. I will see you in the next one.